Right, everyone. Before we get in today's show, here's a quick message from our sponsor. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, not another one of these sponsors, but you're really going to want to listen to this. You really do. Oxford Natural. They really get you primed to your optimum level. We've all been there, haven't we? Long nights on the road, whether you're at football, whether you're at work, fast food, takeaways, a beer, another beer, and you're always like, let's kick the can down the road. Health can come later, but you all have the best intentions, but you're all saying, oh, it can come a bit later. I'm not telling you this is a magic pill or anything like that, but it does get you primed to your optimum level.
That's why we have teamed up with Oxford Natural, who have designed these supplements to help you along your fitness journey. Optimum Day, which is a combination of green tea extract, berberine and guarana, which is designed to help you with your energy, cravings, and keeping you on track with your wellness journey. And Optimum Night, which is also a combination of berberine, magnesium and ashwagandha, which helps you with your sleep, recovery, and helping you properly switch off.
And like I said before, this isn't a magic pill. It does get you primed to the optimum level. And we are just at the beginning of our journey. And already we are seeing the effects. We are sleeping better. We are waking up better. You know, if you know anything about me and Sim, we are not morning people. And we are very groggy in the morning, find it hard to wake up. And this, straight away, we were able to get up a lot easier. Like I said, the sleep has been a lot better. And we also, both of us, drink a lot of coffee. Not one coffee have we drunk since taking these supplements.
I haven't woken up fresher since I've been taking the Oxford Natural supplements a few days ago. And it's been a real life changer, if I'm being honest. And it's been absolutely brilliant. And you're going to be tracking us on our wellness journey over the next few months. But we're only promoting this because it works. And here's some real life proof on screen right now. Both Robbie and Michael Owen teamed up with Oxford Natural for their wellness journey, and you can see the results for yourself.
Get your supplements and start your fitness journey in the comments section below. You can see on screen, use the code WeAreTottenhamTV to get 70% off your first order, guys. And I'm telling you guys, this is no magic pill, like I keep mentioning. It really works. So get yours, link in description below. But enough of that. Let's get into some Spurs talk. Let's start off talking about Micky van der Ven, a report from Fabrizio Romano. And it's all good news on the Micky van der Ven front. We heard a rumour, well, we heard a report from Juiced, who was obviously bang on the money on the Van Hecker situation, and he's very close to the Dutch press and everything like that. He said that Barcelona and Liverpool circling around for Micky van der Ven. However, Fabrizio Romano says, just like Pedro Porro, Micky van der Ven is seen by Roberto De Zerbi as Tottenham's absolutely crucial player, an absolutely untouchable player. Spurs believe he'll be a huge part of the project on now and in the future. Expectation is there'll be no exit for him in the summer, and he understands there is no Liverpool move or no Barcelona move planned for Micky van der Ven. Tottenham see the centre-back as a key part of the project. De Zerbi wants him to say, and no exit is planned this summer.
Yeah, which is what we've been hearing pretty much from the majority of the summer. Even the report yesterday from the other Dutch journalist, Mike, they were saying there's interest from Barcelona and Liverpool. He had said nothing about Van der Ven and Tottenham, although he was saying the contract negotiations are stalling, which, to be fair, we haven't really heard any update on. So let's hope he signs, and let's hope that any kind of uncertainty can be put to bed. I'm pretty sure if he is to stay Van der Ven, surely he has to sign. No, he doesn't have to sign, but I mean, surely he will, because why would he stay and not sign? You know what I mean? That makes no sense. Yeah. Because why would he not want to get a higher wage if he wants to stay? So surely that will happen. So I want to hear that kind of news. But of course, from Tottenham's point of view, we would obviously not going to want to sell, and he's one of our main players, especially now Romero. We know Romero's leaving Van Hecker through the door. We don't want to lose both Romero and Van der Ven in the same window, even with Senesi's already come in. So I think that makes a lot of sense. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
It's good to hear, though.
Yeah, we need that contract signed. We won't rest until that contract's signed for Micky. Big up, they got Porro over the line. Time to get Micky van der Ven over the line as well. Interesting report from Fabrizio as well on Antonin Kinsky. He says that at the moment, De Zerbi sees Antonin Kinsky as his number one goalkeeper. The plan would be for Kinsky to be first choice with Tottenham, then looking for a second choice keeper to play behind him, which will allow Vicario to leave, which we'll get onto Vicario in a minute. But yeah, this is what I've wanted since the back end of last season, to be honest. I never really saw why we should be going for a Verbruggen or a Trafford who's the same age as him. I think Kinsky's earned the right with the way he finished the season. I think his shot stopping has dramatically improved. He's unbelievable on the ball, and he's a player developing and getting better all the time. So I'm happy with this news.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because all the talk before this has been that we want a keeper, and now there has been talk about apparently Brighton's asking price for Verbruggen is not what we want, and it's a bit too high. So I wonder if we looked at that, and as well, not just his asking price, I wonder if we saw the first game against Japan and we're like, maybe we should just stick with Kinsky. Because they were talking about a record fee or some sort. I don't know what record it would be, but maybe a record for a keeper in the league or something. And maybe that. Look, for me, if we could get Verbruggen for 30 to 40 million, maybe 45 at a push, I think it's probably worth doing. Any more than that, then it's probably not. And I think it's probably worth just investing in Kinsky. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about Spurs spending lots of money on different players at the moment. So I think the keeper probably is one which is less of a priority than the others right now, considering we did see Kinsky play very well. And Kinsky is, the way he plays, a De Zerbi kind of keeper. So, look, I think I'm intrigued to see how Kinsky does, giving a full season behind him. I'm still not 100% sure on him just yet. Even I know he had a great 7 games. I'm still not 100% sure just on how the few of like his shot stopping and that kind of stuff. I do think the other stuff he is pretty good at, and he's still young. He's going to improve. So I do think there's a talented keeper there. But yeah, I think I do think. In an ideal world, I think De Zerbi wants a new keeper, but maybe right now that asking price is a bit too high for Verbruggen. If it is too high, and if Trafford's off to Newcastle, then I'm pretty open to Kinsky being our number one.
Yeah, I think as well, when you look at the amount of business, the sheer number of business that we need to do this window, I think, give Kinsky the season, or at least till January. See how he does over a long stretch, and if we feel that we need a new keeper in January or at the end of the season, then go do that kind of business. Then we've got so many other pressing issues that we need to sort out this summer. The whole forward line needs a regeneration. We're going for 2 top midfielders in the middle of the park. Like, I just always felt that the goalkeeping situation didn't need to be our first priority, and Kinsky kind of, he showed he's a competent keeper at the back end of last season. So, and he showed he's got a really good head on his shoulders as well in terms of mentality to come back from what happened at Atletico Madrid. So, yeah, I'm completely fine with it. I'm happy with it. I think he deserves it. And let's hope he can carry on proving himself next season. Because if he does carry on proving himself next season, then the keeper situation is sorted for like the next 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you've saved a lot of money, and obviously you've got a good keeper there. That's obviously preferable. And I think there's a chance Kinsky could be our guy. I still think he's got a lot of ironing out to do when it comes to little things that being like
his positioning
top
needs
level
work,
keeper, yeah. Like in like a top 6 keeper kind of in the Premier League. I think he's not quite there yet, but he definitely showed that he is a Premier League keeper. I think there were doubts about that at some point, whether he could even be a Premier League keeper, and that's not a doubt anymore for me. Clearly, he can perform at this level.
Also, that's only natural at 23 years of age. Not to have everything, at the top of his game. He's a keeper that's getting better, and he's shown that he's getting better.
It's also true. I'm just saying that if De Zerbi is, he's been pretty ruthless with like Vuskovic, not ruthless, but he's like, I want Van Hecke, I don't want to blood in Vuskovic. He wants players who are ready now to be at that level where we want to be next season. Now, obviously, I think when you're looking to do what we're doing this summer, which is revolutionise the team, if you want to spend 85 million on Tonali, you want to spend maybe 85 million on Matis Fernandes. I think when you're looking to do those kind of massive things, there might have to be a compromise somewhere, and maybe that's where it is. I think De Zerbi probably wants Verbruggen in an ideal world. But if he also wants a striker, and he also wants 2 wingers, and he also wants 2 midfielders, there might have to be a compromise. You can't get absolutely every single thing. Like, there might have to be some sort of compromise. And if Kinsky's that compromise, that's one of the best compromises you can make, probably.
Yeah, and it gives him a shot to prove himself. And if he doesn't prove himself, then we're going to have to dip into the market and get a keeper in January or at the end of the season. So completely fine with that, as long as we get the other business done. So let's talk about Vicario now, because there's been a report on him again from Damasio saying that Juventus' interest in Vicario is now increasing. They'd like a fee of around 30 million euros with a maximum of 15 million euros, and they have competition from Napoli. So it looks as though they could be pushing ahead with Vicario ahead of Emi Martinez.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe the price is too much. Maybe that's what the sticking point is, and maybe they look at Tottenham thinking they're more willing to sell. They're probably going to lower their price if we really need them. They're more desperate to sell Vicario than Villarreal. So it'll be interesting to see how this develops. I think if I'm Juventus, it's a bit of a compromise, but I mean, Vicario's not a bad keeper, to be fair. So yeah, I mean, hopefully he goes there. I think it's a great move for Vic. Great move for Vic.
Very good move for Vic, and I think the Italian league suits him more than the Premier League anyway. So yeah, let's hope this deal gets over the line. 13 million, 15 million, not too much of an issue with the price. I think it might be just under his market value. As you can see, the transfer market have given him 18 million euros. So if you have to lose a few million, then it's not the end of the world, is it? It just is what it is. And last but not least, there's been another report on Lucas Bergvall today, and Simon Phillips and SZY saying that Chelsea have made checks on Lucas Bergvall's situation ahead of a potential move this summer. Interest is genuine, as first called by SZY or Simon Phillips. I'm not sure which one, but
Simon Phillips, yeah.
I think with the business that we want to do this summer, there is going to have to be a full guy, unfortunately, and we are going to have to make big money on more than one player, probably, if we're going to be spending 300-400 million. And yeah, it would really hurt me to see Bergvall in a Chelsea shirt. It really would. But if we're going to be able to tempt the likes of Fernandes, Tonali, strikers, wingers, then it might just have to be done.
Well, the reality is, if you're signing Fernandes, right, for 85 million, he's a year older than Bergvall. So it's not like
he's much further ahead.
Yeah, so it's not like it's not like you're signing a player who's a lot older. You know, it's 1 year, so you're talking about, okay, we want to keep Bergvall and, you know, develop him, which I do, but like you're signing a player for 85 million who's only a year older, so it's not like that automatically is going to open up a space. Where's the space for Bergvall going to be? It's a difficult one. Obviously, the price will have to be right. I think we should obviously demand how much.
How much?
50, 45. I mean, which does represent a nice...
Is that the Chelsea price, or is that like any price for any team? Because Chelsea surely has got to come at a premium.
Chelsea, I think, has to be 50.
What, and everyone else?
Maybe 40, 45, and until maybe
it
open
has to be
to
more than 5 million, surely. I would say Chelsea 60. If Chelsea want one of our like star kids that has got Premier League experience, was our player of the year 2 years ago, 60 minimum for them. I think like 40 to 50 for anyone else.
I really don't want to sell to Chelsea. I really don't want to sell Bergvall to Chelsea. But if it ends up with Tottenham getting Tonali and Fernandes, and wouldn't be as bothered. And as much as
soften the blow,
as much as if it will hurt to see Bergvall leave, I think getting those two is worth it, wouldn't it? Or even if it's an Alex Scott, you would think, as much as I love Bergvall, at the moment he is still a lot more potential than he is on the pitch. Like, yes, he's performed well, but when you're talking about comparing him to some of the players we're talking about, it's just he's nowhere near we haven't seen anywhere near that level yet. We've just seen some good performances. I know he got Player of the Year, but even those performances are nowhere near what we've seen from the midfielders we're talking about. So, yeah, I think for the first time,
Jamie
I'm open to it.
Jamie Gittins went for 48.5 million.
Yeah,
Surely
true.
Bergvall goes for more than that.
Well, Gittins was probably showing more in the Bundesliga than Bergvall showing for us at the moment. I don't know, but you also got to take into account Premier League tax, rival tax, and he is a good player. So, look, I love Lucas Bergvall. I do think he could go on to become a top player, and I think I've seen enough from him in a Spurs shirt to suggest that he is a top talent. But at the end of the day, if you can get in players who are performing at a high level already right now, at very high. I'm not talking about performing at, a mid-level. I'm talking about performing at a top level at the moment consistently. Then it's as much potential Bergvall has. It's worth getting the other guys in if that's the direction you want to go in.
Where did Chelsea see Lucas Bergvall fitting in? Because there's big rumours of Enzo Fernandez leaving. Are they replacing Enzo Fernandez with Lucas Bergvall? Is that their plan?
Probably not.
Like, what direction are they going in here?
They just have him in as a squad player. Chelsea don't mind spending 50 million on a squad player. Trust me.
It's true. They don't spend 60 million on their starting players. They only spend it on squad players. That's their model these days. I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. Well, you said the other day that Xabi Alonso found out Cucurella was leaving on Twitter.
Do you reckon he even knows about Bergvall interests?
You know what I mean? Like,
probably not, to be honest. Honestly, I don't think managers have that much of a say at Chelsea.
Oh yeah, at Chelsea. I can't see this Xabi Alonso lasting long at Chelsea with all this going on. But look, at the end of the day, we said, we need to be ruthless at times. And if we can bring in those midfielders, you kept saying all season, there has to be a full guy there.
Yeah. And, Sarr might be one, and maybe it has to be Bergvall. Maybe it'll break my heart. But it'll also fix it again if we get it to Tonali and Fernandez. So obviously we need those two, or a equivalent like an Alex Scott or a Wharton to make it work.
It's also very similar, not the exact same, but similar to the Vuskovic situation that we were talking about earlier with him and Van Hecker. We all believe in Vuskovic and all believe he's got a massive future at the club, but we're bringing in someone that's ready-made now. It's the same kind of idea. Obviously, Bergvall's ahead of Vuskovic right now because he's played more Premier League games. But it's a similar kind of sentiment.
I mean, if we were able to get 50 million for Bergvall and 60 for Vuskovic, is that not incredible business? 110 million for a 20-year-old and a 21-year-old, one who's and a 19-year-old, one who's never played, and one who's played 2 seasons, but has been in and out of the team. Would that not be? And how you signed them both for what?
Well, Bergvall we signed for 15 million or 10 million, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Vuskovic, he was
similar, about 15 million or 10 million.
So we spent 20 million on them, maybe 25, and you're selling them for 100 million when they've given what they've done. Would that not be incredible business? Just objectively.
Well, objectively, yes, because of where they're at in their careers right now. But in a few years down the line, you could be looking back at it being like, oh, man.
You could be, but if you do that regularly, even if they do turn out to be great players, right, you're still making a massive profit and you're buying players ready now. I mean, that would be objectively brilliant business.
I don't mind it. But it's just, it will pain me.
It would make a lot of sense.
It would pain me that if a few years down the line, they're absolutely smashing it and they get into our first teams. Because if they get into our first teams a few years down the line, that's what we bought them for.
I don't see Spurs getting 110 million for both, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people would be prepared. I don't think people would go to 50 million for Bergvall. I think they would see him as maybe like 35, something like that,
Probably.
40. And also Vuskovic, I don't think people are going to pay 60 in a moment for him.
And also the aspect that Bergvall becomes homegrown after this season.
Also true.
And that is a massive value. Massive value. So look, we'll see how it all progresses. But apparently Chelsea making checks on Bergvall. Don't like it. I don't like it at all. If I see Bergvall in a Chelsea shirt, it will make me sick, to be honest.
I wonder what, when they make their checks, what the noise coming back to them will be from Tottenham.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. Is it going to be no, you ain't getting him, or well, he's a talented youngster, but he's available for the right price? I wonder what the message will be.
I reckon it would be available for the right price, because you just look at the players that we're trying to bring in. Like you keep saying, we can't keep stockpiling these midfielders. We've got so many at the football club. So I think, anyone apart from maybe a few in the squad, I think most players are going to be available for the right price. That goes for maybe the back line. I think they want to keep them, but I think Bergvall's available for the right price. Solanke, Richarlison. I think the majority of them, to be honest. If we get a big offer and we're able to bring in a ready-made player now, I think why not? At
the end of the day, when you finish 17th twice, you're going to have to sacrifice maybe some potential for players who can get us back to that level. You need a certain baseline where the quality doesn't drop below a certain level. And unfortunately, over these last 2 years, as talented as these kids are, the quality of this team has just dropped well below the levels that we've needed it to be. And if it means there has to be a sacrifice just to get that, just to raise that level again, even if Bergvall turns into a world-class player in 3 years' time, it's a sacrifice that you might need to make.
Just finishing off on something, actually, which I forgot, that João Palhinha, if the new kit launch, you can customize the kits and it's got pre-made customizations. And João Palhinha was actually there. That you can buy a João Palhinha shirt with the new kits right now on the website. You cannot buy a Kolo Muani shirt. You cannot buy anyone else, that's leaving or that, But Palhinha is not even officially on our books. So I found that quite interesting. Is that trying to...
Who's anyone else apart from Muani?
Well, just Muani, I guess. He was the only other player on loan last season. So you can't buy a Muani shirt, but you can buy a Palhinha shirt.
That is, I would say it's interesting. The only thing I would say is maybe they think there's going to be a bit of interest there just because he saved us. He's a bit of a cult hero at the moment. So even if whether he stays or not, people might like a shirt of it with him on the back. But maybe there's something to it. Has there been a deal agreed? Is that Tottenham outing themselves? Have they let one slip?
Very strange to have the whole squad and Palhinha just because he saved us from relegation. That is a bit strange.
Well, he's a bit of a cult hero, isn't he? Isn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, for the official club to be selling a Palhinha shirt, that's
because they think there might be a bit of interest in it, and also they know there's a chance he's staying.
Yeah, I think it's a bit fishy.
You think that's evidence of a deal agreed?
I think it could be. I don't know for sure, obviously, but I think it could be. I think maybe they are outing themselves a little bit there. Maybe there is a deal.
Sometimes it happens. We've seen it before. Brentford outed themselves with Frank when Frank wasn't doing the transfer welcomings and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes people say, yeah, it's nothing, no big deal, but it did end up meaning something. So maybe it does. Who knows? Maybe Tottenham have let one slip here.
Well, all will be.
Which I hope not, to be honest, because that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want... if we're selling Bergvall for Palhinha, then I would disagree. I would disagree with that. I wouldn't want to do that. If we're selling Bergvall to get in... Because we're not going to get... Surely I'm going to get Palhinha and another two after that. If the talk at the moment is, were you interested in Tonali and Fernandes? So where would Palhinha fit in that?
Someone says Palhinha has been removed now.
Oh, there you go.
So maybe it was just a cock-up. That makes more sense.
Yeah. It does.
So that puts to bed that. So look, that is it. That is your Tottenham update. Let us know your thoughts on everything that we've spoken about in the comments section below.